Hey everybody, it's Digital Asset Guy. I'm taking a walk enjoying this beautiful fall weather and these beautiful colors on a Saturday. I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about the market sentiment right now in crypto and the news, all that. I'd like to talk about a change that I'll be making or actually something I'll be adding to this channel, getting a little more serious about this, YouTubing. So talk about that, and also want to talk about some personal things and just how, being a crypto investor is, even at the best times, it can be really difficult. So we'll get into that. Again, these videos, and I'll talk about this more when I talk about the change I'll be making to the channel. It'll make sense, but these videos right now where I'm just kind of walking like this and giving my thoughts, really it's kind of more for me, it's almost like therapy for me to walk and give my thoughts. And it's very important to have an emotional log. I mean, can't tell you how many things I've looked back on from 2016, 17, 18, pictures, videos, even things that I wrote down places where I'm just really glad that I have them. And it's just interesting. It can help you figure things out about the current market. So anyway, let's talk about the market first. Bitcoin is just kind of teetering around 101,000 right now. About a month ago, I told you all that I went ahead and for the first time in 9 years, I took kind of some significant profit and risk off the table. I could not be happier with that decision. Got people, calling me from my home city, calling, texting, and other crypto, not so much crypto friends, but other people who I just know who are calling and, saying, oh, you must be so upset. It went down. I called to check on you, all this stuff. And it's just so funny to be against the herd behavior. I'm saying, no, this is literally the best time of my financial life in terms of US dollars or fiat currency. Yeah, the market didn't get to where I wanted it to, but it got so high I was able to even take a little bit of profit, which was really, put me in the best position I've ever been in financially. It's just crazy how volatile crypto is, but how that can be good if you're patient. Because I always say time in the market is better than timing the market. By the way, I have to say, like I do in every video, nothing I say or show or write or anything is financial or investment advice for you. It's just my personal thoughts on the crypto market and what I am thinking and doing. It's all for entertainment purposes, and I teach people about crypto and blockchain in my classes, the basic fundamentals, things like that. The investing part, that's all on you. But I'll tell you what I'm thinking for me personally. So anyway, the market right now, I'm seeing the same tweets, the same posts, almost word for word. It's shocking, as back in 2018, my first real bear market, and that was a heck of a bear market. Bitcoin went up to 20,000. Ethereum went from like under $20 in 2016 to $1,200 in 2017 into the 2018 bear market. I remember when Bitcoin came back down and went back below 10,000, I was just barely, getting my feet wet on crypto Twitter. Back then it was called Twitter. And I remember seeing people tweeting. Back then it was called tweeting. Today it's not. You're not allowed to call them tweets, even though I still do. A lot of people do. But I'm seeing a lot of posts that are the exact same. Like in 2018, I remember seeing when Bitcoin went back down below 10, somebody tweeted, "F you, we're still in a bull market." I remember seeing that exact tweet like this week. Somebody who actually has been around for a while tweeted that, and you know, it just, being in this crypto space for almost 10 years, you start to develop just this sixth sense for the market sentiment and the psychology. You know, I put it right up there with chart analysis. I mean, I'm all about the chart analysts who really know what they're talking about. Everybody knows Blockchain Backer is my hero, and I thank God that I've you know, found him, and it was great to meet him. You've seen in my other videos my short on him and his wife leaving that party early. It's actually my most viewed short and my most viewed and liked content ever, and I'm glad. You know, I hope he was okay. On Markets in the Morning the other day, he actually said something. He said, he was talking about all the heat he was taking for flipping bearish, and then he said something like, you know guys, lately I've seen some content about me, and even some really good content about me in a positive light, and it just kind of makes me feel weird, you know, so I really don't like when people are making negative content. But I just wonder if maybe he saw my short about him. But I was serious about that short. At that after party, you know, I saw him and his wife there, and I'd never met the guy. I watch his videos. You never know how somebody really is in real life. I just wondered, like, I don't know, they say don't meet your heroes. Is he gonna be not like I, you know, would think he is? And maybe my heroes will be like partying, and I won't like them as much as I thought I would. You know, they won't really be who I thought, but he was who I thought he was and more. And just for whatever reason, he was not digging that party. And I saw them going to leave, and all these people were going, Blockchain Backer, where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, that's lame. He's leaving. And it made him 1,000 times cooler to me. He wasn't doing it in a rude way. He was just like, yeah, I think we're gonna head out. It was like 9:30. I thought it was awesome, you know. Where he's one of the people who could have an ego, because he's called this stuff, and he's just so skilled and just so humble. It's crazy. But anyway, enough about that. So with the market sentiment though, and all of these people posting these things, that's a skill that I think that I've really kind of developed, is being able to read the sentiment. And when we had that liquidation on October 10th, I think, I'll be honest, I didn't, I kind of suspected it might be coming because Blockchain Backer warned us. I kind of just, I hope he's wrong, you know, maybe it won't be that bad. But no, he was right on. Nobody else was predicting that. And it just, I was Zooming with someone in Sweden and I hadn't looked at the market like all afternoon, and I happened to look at CoinMarketCap, and I could not believe what I was seeing. XRP like below, like $1.82 or something. You know, your first reaction is like, there's something wrong. The CoinMarketCap's broken. There's no way. You know, the day before, I think we were around like $3 or something. Maybe not 3, but 290, whatever. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I just, you know, said, oh, well, I'm on Zoom with this person, this really amazing person who lives in Sweden, and we're talking. I'm just gonna try to not think about it, but I was, oh man, that was the most vicious, aggressive liquidation I have ever seen. And that really woke me up. Luckily, we bounced back up and came almost back up to where we were. And I wanted to get on the train with the people saying, see, that just shows how strong crypto is. We're not going into a bear market. We're not. But you know what? I remember things like that happening in 2017 at the end and in 2021. 2021, I just remember seeing Ethereum targeting 5,000, got up to like 4,700, I think. Bitcoin went up to that around 70,000, and everybody was calling for $10,000 Ethereum and $100,000 Bitcoin. And it was kind of just wishful thinking, because there wasn't really any chart analysis or anything that was going to get us there, or so I just hung in there. I did take some profit in that bull run. Not a lot, but I did take some, and it felt awful. Like Blockchain Backer says, selling the top feels just as bad as buying the bottom. I feel like you're buying something that's dying, that's not going to ever come back. But anyway, I've seen things like this. Oh, squirrel. I've seen things like this happen. And it's just kind of, you have this sixth sense where it's like flashbacks, like in a movie, or in a horror movie, when it's like, I know something's not right here, and or maybe in an indie film, those ones where it's like, almost watches like a documentary where it's showing like what somebody's experiencing and all these scary things that are happening, and maybe that person knows something bad's about to happen, but the other people around them don't, and it's just kind of that eerie sixth sense. That's kind of how I felt right after that liquidation. Everybody's going, see, we're back up, we're fine, and I'm going, I think this might be the part where it's like, we're fine, aren't we? And then here we go back down. And that's what happened. And so it was really, really hard, but I went ahead and took that profit and the risk off the table. And now I couldn't be happier with the position I'm in, because the lower we go, the better it looks to buy. Now the challenge is going to be finding the bottom, which nobody ever does. I mean, well, actually I've come close. But when you take profit and you're prepared for these bear markets, they're not so scary. They're actually kind of fun, where it's just, it's like a Black Friday sale. Again, not financial or investment advice. It wasn't so much taking profit and like getting money, because I needed to go buy something or whatever. That's actually a really interesting topic, where these days I don't know what to even buy. Nothing seems to make me happy with buying things, but that's a whole nother video. But anyway, it wasn't so much like I wanted to sell to like get this money and take profit, but so much that I want to have dry powder for the bear market. That's the thing. It's not just about getting money. That's not, vacation money or going on a cruise money. That's, if you're a serious crypto investor and you really believe in this thing in the long term, that's your dry powder for the bear market. And that's where the real fortunes are made, are in the bear market, not the bull market. Sometimes people, they say the funniest things to me, where they're talking about crypto, and they'll, all the people right now, they're calling me saying, oh, I saw in the news crypto took a dive, man. That's why I stay away from that stuff. And, it's just the worst thing. And see, you were wrong. And, they don't do the math they won't let me show them the charts, showing them XRP literally 7x'd, went up 700% in less than a year. Oh, we're getting a lot of wind. It's the one thing about walking outside is you can't control the wind, no matter how good your microphone or phone or whatever is. Hopefully it dies down. But anyway, they won't ever let me show them the charts to show them XRP. It went up 700%. And now it went down. The whole market's went down a little tiny bit this year after that run. You never said anything. Well, we went up 700%, you know, but then it goes down a little bit and you're calling me to tell me how I was wrong and it went down. It's almost kind of funny, but anyway, it's just, you know, but I tell them, I say, can you show me a market that only goes up, that never goes down? It doesn't exist. As long as people can buy or sell and it's a market, it's going to go up and down. It's just so funny to me when people, they say, well, why is it going down now? I'm like, I don't know. Why is the sky gray today? I don't know. Why are the leaves falling off? They're so pretty. They have to stay up. They can't fall. You know, it's like people can buy and sell. So the market goes up and down. One person, I laughed out loud. He asked me, he told me he wanted to set up a crypto wallet and learn about crypto and do all the things. And then before he signed my disclosure that said, I'm not giving investment advice, I'm just setting up your wallet, just trying to help you out with the crypto part and make sure you understand. He asked me, he said, before I sign this, I need a guarantee that the prices are going to go up and I'm going to make so much percentage. I said, sir, if I could do that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you in Panera Bread. We would all be rich if there was a market where we could guarantee it's going up. It's just almost comical. It really is. So anyway, okay, let's get to anyway, I am bearish on the market right now. I just don't think we're gonna turn around and go to the moon right now. Why would that happen? How could that happen? However, if all of the things that were taken away suddenly come back, you know, and the government reopens, the Clarity Act is getting through the Senate, the ETFs are getting passed all over the place, the exchange traded funds, and we get more rate cuts, maybe, how about some bigger rate cuts, like 50 points or 100, like Trump has hinted at, and some very, very huge, very interesting news that I heard in XRP Las Vegas by the same person who correctly, laser beam precisely, accurately predicted Trump's executive order on 401ks. He just knew that it was going to happen because this guy is in the know. And I'll just be honest with you, it's not Digital Asset Investor. DAI, he's great, and I talked to him at the after party. He was the only one that I had a picture of me drinking wine with, so that's why I put it in that one short. It's another person, and it's somebody nobody even knows. They're not a YouTuber. They're somebody who's very, very high up for a certain company. And he knew what he was talking about. I was really skeptical. And then the next thing I know, I'm on my local news talking with the news anchor gal about Trump's executive order allowing crypto into 401ks. I was skeptical, but this guy told me it was going to happen, then it did. He told me something else that's supposed to happen in Q4 of this year. Again, I'm not going to say because I don't want people coming after me if it doesn't happen. If it does happen, I'm going to go back and screenshot some posts that I made in my Facebook group and maybe on a couple shorts where you could figure out what I was hinting at, and then I'll show that I knew it was probably coming. So it'll be interesting. I have to switch to a different arm. I'm getting tired. So anyway, changes to the channel. This will be really quick because I'm running out of path that I'm walking on. Actually, maybe I'll just go this way, go the other way. The changes to the channel. As I've told you a couple times, these walking videos where I just kind of give my thoughts. It's kind of like therapy. Sometimes I feel like a crazy person being a crypto investor, being pretty much all in. I mean, not all in because I took some profit, but being a real believer, sometimes I just need to come out here and walk around and get my thoughts out. If somebody wants to listen, great. I didn't plan, to go viral over coming out here and doing these videos. However, I have received some messages from fans saying that they like my content and they like what I talk about. My vision for my channel is to talk about crypto, talk about the prices, talk about the news, get into what the chart analysts are saying, do those things, but also talk about how being a cryptocurrency investor has impacted my life in other ways. Socially, lifestyle-wise, day-to-day life, maybe even romantically, dating-wise. I'm not going to get started on it now, but it's dating is hard enough. Throw some crypto into the mix, or have your lifestyle very heavily dependent on what's going on in crypto. It makes it 1,000 times harder. So I'm going to talk about those things. There's going to be different parts of the channel, different types of videos. I've got some interviews lined up that are coming down probably next month, the month after, with some really interesting members of the crypto space that you're going to watch. So interviews will be a part. Traveling is going to be a priority of mine for the next, hopefully for the rest of my life. I want to do more traveling. And because of my cryptocurrency investing career, that's going to be a reality. It's what I want to do. And crypto's the same in every country. It's not bound by borders. So I want to do some interesting things in different parts of the world talking about crypto. Then probably the thing coming the soonest will be my strictly informational videos. Sometimes I get feedback saying, we don't like the videos where you're just walking and talking and telling us what you think, because it shouldn't be about you and nobody cares what you think. Guess what? I've already told you, these are not really just about the audience, or it's not to get 1 million likes or views. It's kind of like an emotional log and to get my thoughts out. I have videos on old phones from 2018, 2016, early on, where I'm just so glad that I took videos of things in my crypto life. I've been able to make content, some things I have not made content with yet, but I want to, because it's really, really interesting content. Videos where, like on my interview with Evan Aldo, he said he had never talked to anyone who actually GPU mined Ethereum. I was able to show him my short where we're mining and we're upgrading the miner, and my friend's wife is saying, is this going to take another hour or whatever? And that's kind of interesting content, I think. It's rare footage. So anyway, these videos, I think they do have value. Someday I might want to pull them out in 10 years from now and say, what was the digital asset guy thinking on the government shutdown in 2025, end of the bull run, or that was that weird little 6-month bear market, and then the government reopened and the Clarity Act was signed, all these ETFs came through. Out of nowhere, Powell cut rates 100 points in December, and everything just V-bottomed out of there. And we went to the moon, and Charles Hoskinson was right, and Tom Lee was right. We saw $20,000 Ethereum. We saw $282,000 Bitcoin, all in 2026, and it was just a longer bull run. someday I might want to pull out this video and watch it and see what I was thinking in this major pullback or correction or whatever we're doing right now. And that helps you with, that'll help you in whatever moment you're in when you go and look at your emotional log from the past. As the digital asset guy, my saying has been, live in the past and the future in order to make the best of the present. That's something I really believe in. I see people who always live in the future. Their mind is never on what they're doing in the moment. I've seen people who are constantly living in the past and they're never thinking about the future. And then I've seen people who only live in the moment, the right here, right now. That doesn't always work either. So I don't really even know when, but one day I just decided I think you have to do it all. I think you've got to live in the past and the future in order to make the best of the present. And you've always got to be mindful in the present. So these videos do have value, I think, even if it's just to me and a couple strangers who email me and comment and say that they like them. I'm glad. Anyway, I say all that to say I'm going to start doing informational videos where I share my screen and I basically show the current events and what's going on in the space on that day or that week. And I might pull up websites, I might pull up CoinMarketCap or Coin Paprika, and we might analyze some of the charts and the prices. I give my thoughts, again, not financial or investment advice. We might look at some videos that people post on YouTube or X, and I might comment on them. We might look at old content, like I was just talking about from 2018. I might compare things that happened in the past to things that are happening today. And hopefully in 10 minutes or less, I can get people up to speed with what's happening in crypto. And then all my people who don't like these walking videos where I'm just talking, hopefully you won't even see my face. I don't think I'll even have it so you can see my face. I'll just be talking and sharing my screen. And hopefully that approach might be the right approach for some people. Because crypto education, it is lacking. I really think that it is. I know it is. When I've got people coming up to me saying, oh, you must have lost everything. I saw on the news that it crashed and it all went down. I just don't understand how with today's technology, if you have an iPhone and fingers, you don't even need that. You can figure this stuff out, and I think people need, a place to go where they can watch the news maybe daily or every other day, whatever, and get educated, and hopefully it'll help. I had somebody trying to tell me that the whole market, they bought their first crypto and they heard that XRP was gonna go to 1,000 a coin this year, and they're sure of it, and somebody declared it. And I started asking them some questions. I said, well, what was XRP's, what was the all-time low, like back in 2016, 17, bull run? I have no idea. What was the all-time high in 2017 of XRP? Well, I don't know, man. I just got into this this year. I'm like, you bought your first crypto 2 months ago. Yeah, that's right. And he's like telling me I'm wrong. I said I took some profit. I think we might be done for a little while, and I was just kind of stating my case, and he's telling me, no, you are wrong. I saw it is confirmed that XRP is going to $1,000, and it was just almost kind of comical to me how he could not answer any questions I was asking him about basic things. I said, what was Bitcoin's all-time high in 2017? I don't know, man. I told you, I don't know this stuff like you do, but I analyze the current stuff. I know what's going to happen. And so anyway, I want to teach people, I want to teach them my way, because I am a teacher. It's what I've done for for over a decade. And it's what I've had great success with. You know, the way that I analyze the market, I'm not perfect, but I've done pretty well. I had a meeting with a financial advisor, and basically he looked at what was on my computer screen. Well, let's back up. Before that, he was telling me cryptos, it has went up and people have seen profit and things, but ultimately I think it is a scam, and you need to sign the papers on this jumbo life insurance policy that I want you to take out. And his commission was huge on it, I'm sure. And I said, well, I don't have any kids. My parents are okay. I just don't really see why I even already have life insurance. Why would I need this jumbo? Blah, blah, blah. He keeps trying to sell me on it. And then I just flat out said no. And he wanted me to go into some of these stocks that they're up 15% in the last whatever. I got crypto that's up 700%. And then since 2016, I've got crypto that's up, 5-digit, tens of thousands of percent. Why would I be interested in that? We kind of got into it, and then he told me, someday when your crypto all goes to zero, you will remember this conversation. And he closes his computer. We were on Zoom, and it was just so funny. And then, so I don't know, it's just funny to me how uneducated people are about the market, and that's something that I want to change. I want people to know at least the basic fundamentals of crypto and blockchain and where it's going. And hopefully I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to be introducing these informational videos where I share my screen. I do most of my crypto work for free, so if you'd like to pay me back, the best thing you can do is watch my content, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, family, and hopefully I'm able to teach the world about crypto. Thanks for coming on a walk with me on this beautiful fall, kind of gray day, but it was definitely good for me. Get out and get my thoughts out. Look for those informational videos to start coming out pretty soon. I still have to figure out a few things, but they should be coming out. The market, pay attention to everything going on. I'm getting a bear market vibe. I don't see us all of a sudden turning around and going to the moon unless some really monumental, huge things happen. So pay attention to it. Remember, be fearful when others are greedy, greedy when others are fearful. And not financial or investment advice, but I would just be paying a lot of attention to what's going on with the political events. And remember, time in the market is always going to be better than timing the market. That just doesn't work. People get lucky sometimes, and it does, but be very careful about that. There are no shortcuts in especially crypto investing. I think the only shortcut in crypto is accepting the fact that there are no shortcuts as soon as possible. That's your only shortcut. And maybe watching some Blockchain Backer and listening to that guy, because he's something. And also having your own skills that you develop, whether that's reading the market sentiment, taking risk off the table, buying, whatever it is. It's your business, not mine. I just like to talk about crypto. All right, digital asset guy out. Have a nice day.